Hey everybody, St. Paul here, and welcome to another episode, number 32, of Music on the Run. This week, one of my favorite drummers on the planet, from Minneapolis, Mr. Michael Bland, is next on Music on the Run.
Before we get started here, do me a favor. Wherever you got this podcast, make sure you subscribe, give us a rating, and if you have time and like what you're hearing, make sure you write a review. It really helps us get the word out so we can have a lot more people coming to the party.
Hey everybody, I'm St. Paul Peterson. Prince gave me that nickname, and I've been lucky enough to tour with people like the Steve Miller Band, Kenny Loggins, Peter Frampton, Donny Osmond, to name a few. And when I'm not playing music, I love to run. And this is a podcast about how we stay healthy on the road, physically, mentally, and with our families. Welcome to Music on the Run. Hey everybody, St. Paul Peterson here. Welcome to episode 32 of Music on the Run. My next guest is best known probably for his work as a drummer with Prince and Soul Asylum. He's also a producer, a writer, and a loud voice for social and political issues. He's a Minneapolis native, and he's been my friend for many, many years. Please welcome my guest, Michael Bland. Michael B.
Hey, man.
Man, is it good to see you? I haven't seen you, in way too long.
Yeah, even before the pandemic, I think it had been a year already. Or something like that.
Really? We cut that one track.
Oliver's Session. That was the last time I saw you, I think.
Right, because you and I cut something in the water together, which was it was a single I put out about a year ago, but
sure,
we cut that way before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so where have you been during this entire crazy pandemic, non-playing year?
Wow. Mostly at home.
Okay.
Soul Asylum did a couple of streaming events, one in October, and then we did our holiday show from First Avenue in late December. So that's the last time that we really, got together officially to do anything. But Dave's working on new music now, and so I'm just kind of waiting until things are developed to the point where, I can make a contribution.
Sure.
But other
That's
than
how
that,
that works, huh? He comes up with the concepts, and then he's like, okay, fellas.
yeah, that's pretty much it. Ryan Smith and Jeremy Tapero, the bass player and the guitar player, they've been going to his house weekly, like sometimes Monday, sometimes Wednesday, sometimes both, and just kind of helping him push things along. But it's like, first off, his studio is like, it's like a little bomb shelter. It's like they're already, elbows in everybody's rib cage. Like, they don't need me down there. Just everybody. Just
right. Why?
Yeah, exactly. Gangway. So
yeah, come on through.
Yeah, exactly. They don't need me down there. Just
Yeah.
So they work, they record things, and they document everything. But then the next phase is to take it down to the rehearsal space where we're set up to multi-track.
Oh,
and,
right.
Yeah, so I got my drums are set up down there. I could be doing more online stuff, I suppose, but nobody usually asks me, so I don't.
Well, I'm going to start asking because I didn't know you were set up. Because now you opened up a can of worms.
There's a way for me to do it, I'd be perfectly willing. All you have to do is call.
Good to hear that.
After the cold snap. After the cold snap, you got me.
Okay, so I got to give a little backstory on your and my relationship to the people who are listening or watching. One story in particular is that this is many years ago, and my kids were tiny, and I would take them in the car to go to daycare, which just happened to go right by your house. About 6:37 in the morning, and of course, I've been caffeinated for an hour already, so I'd be on the horn by Michael's house. Beep, 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 beep. And of course, I'd go, Michael, did you hear that? Next time I saw him, and you'd say,
yeah, I heard it. But my ex-wife, she'd sit up in the bed and just give me the evil eye.
Yeah, that's Paul.
That's got to be your friends. Well,
So we can't irritate people as well
as musically as
true.
not as many subdivisions and
That's right. Time signatures and
you're
whatnot.
right. Can't do it in 12/9.
No. So we've known each other a long time. Do you even remember when we met? I mean, you were a kid.
I honestly don't. I don't. I remember meeting Ricky.
Okay.
I remember meeting Patty. Somehow we just kind of.
Well, I remember meeting you. You were playing an outdoor gig with my sister Patty.
Right.
It was one of the first gigs at St. Anthony, Maine, or something like that. And my
That
memory's
sounds right.
terrible. I don't know why I remember that, but I do. But you couldn't have been more than 17.
I think
18,
I was
something
16,
like that?
17. Yeah, and John Della Selva, God bless him, was the one who went to Patty and said, "Hey, this kid, I had just sat in with Dr. Mambo's combo at some gig at the Caboose where they were just playing an hour, and Vandell had something else to do, and I think they were just hoping somebody would be able to cover the gig, and I think they saw me playing with somebody else, and Tim Emerson was, oh hey, would you sit in with us? And, okay. And I'd never heard the band. I didn't know what was going on. And I remember I did the gig and I did pretty good, except I didn't know You Got the Love by Rufus and Chaka Khan.
Ooh.
And that guitar figure threw me off.
Oh, sure, we should.
So I'm playing on the opposite side and Margaret's looking back, ice grilling me like, who is it?
Who's this kid?
And I guess she leaned over and she said, Timo, don't ever hire him again.
No.
And so my fate should have been sealed.
30 years later, you're still in the band.
Well, yeah. Vandell saw me at the Twin Cities Best Drummer contest and was like, hey, and brought me into the fold then. So by the time I actually went to Bunkers, Bobby was like, yeah, just come in, I'll wave you in. I was like, I'm 16. He's like, it's okay. And I was hanging out there. I was hanging at the Whiskey Junction when Doug Maynard was playing on Sundays.
Sure.
And, Big Ray Parsons would just stand behind Ray. You'll be all right.
Right.
And the fights would break out, and Ray would grab two bikers and clunk them together like Mo, and, out the front door. And I was 16, just...
Yeah, you got an eyeful and an earful too.
Oh yeah.
What great people to surround yourself with, though. I mean, we got to mention. I mean, you mentioned this guy, Bobby Vandell. Or those of you who don't know who Bobby Vandell is, he is a Minneapolis icon drummer who started a band that's very famous here called the TC Jammers.
Yes.
And he championed. He said, and I saw him the other day. He said, much to my sometimes demise, he's championed drummers and things like that who have sometimes eased him out of a gig on one occasion or another, but he doesn't care. That's the heart that he's got. And I didn't know that he had seen you and he was championing.
He brought me right to the band, and then I got hired.
Wow.
And God bless Bobby, because he never held it against me. He never said one unkind word. I mean, he really is. He really is the person that he represents himself to be. He's a conduit. He's what do they call that? Like a real
hookup.
statesman. A hookup. Yeah, that's what you call it.
Yeah. And what's funny is that whenever I do that for someone else, they always ask me, what can I do for you? I'm like, you pay that forward. You just continue to nurture and pay that forward. That's what I think.
Well, that's what happened for me with Dave Anania. Dave Anania started coming down, sitting in. So did Dorian Crozier when those guys moved to town. And lo and behold, I mean, I think Dorian quit Greasy Meal to move to L.A. And Fields called me, hey, you want to quit playing on the corner for no money and join the Greasy Meal, And I said, I can't do that. These are my people. I mean, y'all my people, but Doug, Billy, and Stevie and those guys, that I'm home down there. We don't. I mean, we're taking a hit. Everybody, they come over to Whiskey Junction on the break and go back over to see Greasy. And we knew the gig was dying on the vine, and they were doing us in, man. Yeah. And but what was that going to look like for me to just jump ship and just, there was no way for that to be right. So
You stuck it out, man.
yeah, I recommended Anania. And lo and behold, he got in there and, started.
That was a great
right
period
away.
of time in Minneapolis music too. That band was fire with Fields and
Yeah.
Juice, and
They really brought it every week.
they did. Well, I'm going to take you back again because the Peterson family immediately fell in love with you personally, and of course your talent. And it was fun to see you play with Patty, and then Ricky must have saw you. Did Ricky introduce you to Hiram Bullock then? Is that
That's exactly what happened. They were cutting over at Metro, and Ricky walked in with Hiram, and we were playing I can't remember. I think it might have been "Give It What You Got." I think it was one of Hiram's songs, and
Sure. Charlie Drayton on drums, or were you playing?
no, Charlie was I was playing with Patty at the Fine Line,
Okay, got it.
and yeah, Charlie was doing those sessions over there.
Okay.
And they came over, and Hiram was like, "Oh, hey!" And I think De La Silva was like, "Well, we play one of your songs," so we ended up playing that. And Hiram just kind of kept looking back, like, "Hey, look at this kid. Okay, kid." And that led, I think, Charlie was on his way to go play with Herbie and the Headhunters. The Headhunters had gotten back together,
Oh,
and Charlie was going to play. So they had a gig booked at the Fine Line, and Hiram asked me to do it. And that was,
Really?
yeah.
Ricky,
was-
you, Hiram, Will?
Steve
Steve, yeah.
Bailey, I think was his name.
Steve Bailey?
I think his name was Steve
Steve
Bailey.
Logan. Steve
Steve
Logan.
Logan, that's it.
Yeah, that's
right.
who it was.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I heard he
Great player.
passed.
He's gone now,
Yeah.
unfortunately, but yeah.
Yeah.
Great player, man. Wow, so there's your jump start right there.
That was it. And that led to a gig at McKell's on 97th and Columbus in New York. And like a festival, like a jazz festival in... Where's Eric from? It was his town. Where's Eric's from? Eric Lee. They're from Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yep, that's where it was.
I thought you were talking about a different country. I'm like, he's from
No.
a different planet, but Pittsburgh, yeah. Planet
definitely.
Pittsburgh.
But yeah, it was a Pittsburgh, like a Three Rivers Festival, I think it was called.
Got it.
And it was like Randy Brecker played, a bunch of cats played. And Hiram let me take a solo that night, and it was really like it was a whole. I mean, Ricky was the one sitting next to me on my first plane flight. I'm sure he told you.
Yeah, it's been a lot of years since he shared that story, but you might as well tell these.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd never been on a plane before, let alone been to New York. That was my first time going. I was 17, and Ricky and I were sitting next to each other, and we got the seatbelts on, and we started flying, and he could tell I was nervous. Every time something happened, I was, "What's that? What?" And we were in flight, and some of that happened.
Right.
What was that? Ricky's like, "Relax, man. It's just turbulence. It happens. It doesn't mean anything. Be cool, man. It's all right." And I just, God bless him. God bless him.
So just to
Ricky.
remind folks, he's talking about my brother Ricky Peterson. But
That's right, Ricky Peterson.
Yeah.
And so he was just. Ricky was, your entire family has been a godsend to me. You know that. Me and JP.
I told you we adopted you from
Yeah.
the minute we saw you because we loved you and we loved your playing and your approach to everything, man. I mean, that's just how we roll.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. And then I'm in college at Augsburg, and me and JP, I'm like, you look like, are you
My
related to
nephew
the
he's talking
Petersons?
about. Yeah.
Yeah. So me and JP, we were both in Jazz Band 1, and we'd get there early and be playing just all out and abstract.
Right, of
and
course.
just- yeah.
Yep.
So, it wasn't long before he cycled himself out of that because
Right.
he had more options before I did, So
When did your option so you did the gig with Hiram Bullock.
Uh-huh.
When did that turn into the Prince gig? Is that the order of things?
that is pretty much the order of things. I mean, I was at some point, Bobby went away to like Los Angeles. And
Bobby Vandell.
yes,
Okay,
I'm sorry,
so
I got to
that-
use first and last names. We're too familiar.
These guys don't know what we're talking about otherwise.
Bobby Vandell, and he was like, "Hey, I need you to cover my gigs with Doug Maynard and then with Lamont on the weekends. So at that time, the combo took over Monday and Tuesday at Bunkers, and then I'd play Wednesdays there with Doug Maynard. Thursdays were off, and then Friday and Saturday with Lamont Cranston Band with Pat Hayes.
Right.
And then Sundays with the Men Who Eat Out at the Whiskey Junction. I was working 6 days a week, and Doug Nelson was on every gig.
Great bass player from Minneapolis here, Doug Nelson.
Yeah, Doug Nelson was, he was another one who just showed me the ropes and just, like, no, you don't do it like that.
Yeah, well, there's that relationship between a bass player and a drummer that is undeniable. And
Absolutely.
what a great guy to show you the ropes, too. What a talent.
All those dudes were sweethearts. De La Selva, Billy Franzi, Doug, Steve Cherawan, all those cats, man. They really looked after me and kept me out of a lot more trouble than I could have gotten in. And I don't know why my parents just believed that everything was just, okay, well, you're a big boy. Ain't nobody going to go really mess with you. So, you can defend yourself if there's trouble.
They trusted them for whatever reason, I guess.
Yeah, I was coming home at 3 o'clock in the morning in high school.
My mom did the same thing, though. She was like, whatever. I think she was over it after having 5 kids. She's like, he'll be fine, whatever.
Exactly. I was the last. So
Me too.
But I was also the only boy. So my sisters were always hot about it. How come Michael gets to stay out too?
From the early days of playing at church all the way through the contest, and now in walks this opportunity.
Yes, and what's funny is that what was going on is that I was playing. By that time, it was another gig at the Whiskey Junction that materialized on Wednesdays, and that was a group called the Men About Town, and that was with John De La Selva. That lasted for a little while, and then the combo decided they wanted to take Wednesdays at the Fine Line. So I think it was Gordy Knudsen and Bobby kind of flip-flopped on that.
Okay.
And Prince came down there, probably bored. He would get bored and just take the limo downtown and go see what he could see. And the combo was playing. He recognized Margaret Cox from Tamara and the Scene when she worked with Jesse Johnson.
Right.
So he gets his bodyguard to go and ask her to come to his table. They go to the limo and start talking. And he's asking her, what's going on with your career, so on and so forth. And this is a really good band. And she says, oh, yeah, you should see us with our regular drummer. He's this kid from Southeast Minneapolis. And she piques Prince's interest. So the next Monday, he's down at Bunkers. And
did you know he was there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yes, because I think he came in the back way through the kitchen, but he took a seat like over on that side at Bunkers where you got the booths.
Oh, yeah.
And he just kind of snuck past the popcorn machine and into one of those booths. Yep. And then security just kind of stood in front of the booth. You couldn't get to him.
Right.
And I went through the kitchen. I was going to get some of that fake juice out of that juice machine. And I looked out there, and he was out there, and we kind of, I saw him, he saw me, he just kind of waved. Oh, hey! And so I went over and talked to him for a few minutes, and then he got up to sit in on some slow blues, and he was just kind of laser beaming like my hands, like he was just looking at my hands and kind of, and I tried my best to be cool,
Right. Well, I know.
And just kind of, you still got to play. I mean,
Yes, you do.
So I just did what I knew. And he came back the following week, and that led to some invitations out to Paisley Park to, he'd have parties out there and whatnot. And he actually invited me and Billy Franzi and Margaret Cox out to hear the Batman album before it got released. Like he had finished it. And we went out there at like 3 o'clock in the morning and listened to the whole thing down. And
Right.
yeah, so it was kind of, that was how I got sort of massaged in. And finally there was an official call. And I still hadn't grasped the magnitude of the situation. Mm-hmm. I was at Augsburg, trying to do whatever I don't know what I was lying to myself mostly. Yeah. Saying that if I was in college, looking at it as like a fallback, but my heart wasn't in it. I've known I wanted to do music for a living since at least 13, 14. So I did it more to appease my father, who was an educator and who, was only giving me sound counsel, saying, what if it don't happen? What if you don't make it? You need something to fall back on, and so I did the sensible thing and went to college. And I don't know what it was, Paul, to be honest, why I was so relaxed with Prince. Like he finally called and asked if I wanted, I'm calling to offer you a job. I want you to be in my band. I asked him, I said, well, I'm in my
semester. What?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
I'm like, do you think I'll have time to finish my fall semester? And he just started cracking up. And he said, I think you're going to be probably too busy. I said, okay. Well, yeah.
then you got to break the news to Dad. How'd Dad take that?
My dad was, okay, all right. He took it in stride. I mean, my father was the type who I knew he was proud of me, but it was not like he was ever going to say that, to my face. Really, like how I knew is how he bragged about me to all his friends. They got sick of hearing about me. Right. He was that type of dude. He tried to ingrain in me a work ethic, to rely less on however special I thought I was in the world. Like, So, I mean, that's how he kind of came up. Like, nobody loves you but this family.
All right.
And if you want it, you better go out there and get it, because it's not just going to come to you. And on top of that, growing up down south, because my family's from Bogalusa, Louisiana. Like, backwoods, or way back.
I did not know that, man.
Yeah, they were from Louisiana, and, so there was also that idea that, the black man's got to run twice as fast. Like, you better, really, if you're looking for somebody to hand you an opportunity, that doesn't happen.
And we are going to get into that in a little bit, because I think it's an important conversation. And I do want to touch on a couple of more Prince things.
Sure.
But I know you've done a lot of interviews on that, so we are going to cover a lot of things. What I want to know is, was it as much of a college experience being with Prince for you as it was for me? I mean, we were in two different eras, but for me, my mind was blown, and I didn't even know how much I learned in the little short amount of time I was there.
You know what? My mind was blown, but I mean, I don't even know how I'm going to sound saying this. I really felt like I had some sort of understanding, like not intrinsic, but like he really could communicate his ideas well to me in a way that I could digest. I mean, you know how he was. He wanted everything yesterday.
Yeah.
So I tell people all the time, they're like, what was it like working for a genius like Prince? And I tell them all the time, without, conceit, or I don't know what it is, but it's like if anybody who's worked with a genius knows, you have to almost be a genius.
Yep.
So
you are, Michael.
Oh, come on, man. I'm just saying that, and you too. Anybody who could hang in that environment was of a special, ilk. You're cut from a different cloth if you could hang with Prince.
Well, here's something I want to point out to you, though. The difference between your tenure and my tenure, yours was more of a collaborative amount of time. Mine was less. Mine was, I was 17. He's going to tell me how it is. I'm going to sing and play how he wants. Mm-hmm. And then if you do that, you're great. But yours was from a musicality point of view. I don't know why we didn't have that. I don't care. I've still loved my period of time. It's just different. That's all.
I get that. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So looking back on that period of time, what do you think separates somebody like Prince from the rest of the great musicians that we know? What was that thing because I think of him as like an alien from another planet he was a genius. He was brilliant. But I wonder if you can put your finger on what you think it was that separated him from everybody else.
I think that he was, amongst a lot of other things, I think he doubted himself a lot less. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Like, he always had the confidence that he was on the precipice of doing something great. he allowed himself to think that much of himself.
Yeah.
And I think often people like us, we lean on humility, because it's a social, convention, and it's tasteful, and you don't really, I'm sure that, it's any of us. I don't have the guts to be that bold.
It would be nice not to question yourself. Does this suck? Is this okay? Did I play that well? Is he going to like it?
Yeah, he really.
Those voices that are always that can speak to you.
Yes,
He silenced them.
Exactly, and I think that probably was partly through self-analysis. What I've come to understand about myself is that. Even as a songwriter or a producer, or just, if you're in the business of manifesting things from thin air, it's not just you who's involved. It's you don't know what you're channeling. You don't know what's coming through you sometimes.
Right.
And I'll say the very best drumming I ever did was almost like I was sleepwalking.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even a matter of the thought process. And I think that I'm very analytical. But I analyze things over and over, and try to. Whereas until I got older, I didn't realize that intelligence is just as much a crutch, as it is as it can be a prison. It's I didn't mean to say that. That's just how it came out. But what I've learned is that the key is to reach a level of awareness where you understand what's going on around you without the questions come through your intelligence, through your need to analyze something.
Right.
But I think that Prince very much. I don't know if we ever cut anything more than twice. And that's just because somebody messed up the arrangement. But he did not want to linger on a piece of music for too long.
My brother Billy calls that hanging you out on a ledge. And you play better because you can't have time to think and overanalyze.
Right.
And that's where the musicality and the brilliance is. And I didn't know that about Prince. My brother Billy he's like, nope, we're done.
Yeah.
But I made a mistake there. No, that was supposed to be there. That's where the heart and the soul of these things are. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's fascinating.
Prince was the same way. He didn't want to mess with it too long. Once we were there, just stay there. Stay there. Let's get it. Let's get it now. Like, he knew when the iron was hot. And he also knew when it just got overworked. Maybe we'll come back to that. And he'd move on to something else. Like, anytime the questions started to pop up, like anytime he couldn't see, when he felt like he couldn't surrender to the process, he'd just do something else.
Right.
And I don't know if it's that way for any other artist, really. I've never had such in-depth time with any other artist,
Sure.
Who knew that much about music, who could do so much, I don't know if will there ever be another superstar musician of that level? You know what I mean? Who can?
Yeah.
He's self-made.
Yeah, he sure was.
His vision, his sound, his music, his way,
his marketing, his clothing, his building, his everything.
Yeah, it's
that's what I learned. That's what freaked me out. I'm like, 10 years later, after I left the fold, I learned this in a 2-year period from him without him ever really telling me this. I just watched him during his golden years, what I would call his golden years, where everything he would do was just brilliant. And you can't help but learn if you got your eyes open a little bit.
Exactly. You could see it all. It doesn't necessarily expose to you how he did it, but
no.
I'm telling you, the key is to trust. The key is to trust. Like, he just trusted himself, and things came to their fruition.
He manifested a lot of stuff, including a movie, 3 movies for that matter.
Yeah.
I was going to say, were you in the Prince camp when Ricky was my brother Ricky was the staff producer out there. Were you in the camp then?
We're going to break away from the interview right now because I want to tell you about a couple of really cool things. First of all, thank you to everybody who's embraced Funk Friday. We are having so much fun bringing a little joy to the internet every single Friday with a 1-minute funk jam. So thank you so much for that. And if you like Funk Friday and you like Music on the Run and you want to become our partner and help us put those shows on, go to patreon.com/Music on the Run podcast. Again, become our partner at patreon.com/Music on the Run podcast. And there you'll get all the information on how you can financially help us produce this podcast and get some pretty cool merchandise and incentives in return. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank the patrons who've already signed up. We could not do this show without you. As always, thank you so much for supporting us here at Music on the Run. Now back to our interview.
Ricky was my brother Ricky was the staff producer out there. Were you in the camp then?
Yeah.
'Cause I would sneak back in and Prince and I weren't necessarily getting along at that point in time when you were in the camp, but I was still there hanging with my brother because Ricky and I did a lot of productions together. And you and I, during that period, were in the studio together more than I've ever been with any other drummer in my life.
Really? Okay. Yes.
You and I did a lot of records in that short amount of time. And I would have to say that George Benson record that you and I did together will go down in history as my favorite record because if you recall, here's what I recall. We, again, probably only went through the songs once or twice, fixed little, ate well with Tommy LaPuma. And we were playing with, he was my idol. I don't know if he was yours, but
I've been listening to George Benson since the Breezin' record. So
right, yeah,
and then Billy Franzi went, "Oh man, you need Beyond the Blue Horizon. You need," and then I was like,
named all the bebop records, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We made away like possums eating grapes, like two possums.
Man, was that good?
Surf and turf. I think the best money I've ever been paid on any album session.
Oh, yeah.
The Hang was incredible. It's Tommy LaPuma and George, who together sold like 25 million records.
They did.
Yeah, that was the real. I think I've never felt as much a part of like royal music history as during that
Glad
time.
I'm not the only one because that period, that record for me, in the Hang with you, and the way you and I developed a style of playing with each other, the communication that we had musically was so solid and so musical.
Yeah.
And I just always look forward to getting to play music with you again because we pick up where we left off, however long it has been since we played together. And that's, you don't find that every day.
Right. We're just telling each other what we've been up to when we play.
We get to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And the only other person I really have that with is Sonny. Sonny and I, it's like falling off a log. It's like, well, how you been, man? It's literally a musical conversation, you know.
Sonny is something else, man. He is. I call him the funky originator. I called him out in one of my songs because he deserves the credit that he gets.
Sonny's everything, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard about Sonny. David Island was the one who told me about Sonny. Oh man, somebody said something about Sonny. I said, "Who's Sonny Thompson?" Sonny Thompson. Oh man, he was David. Definitely, the baddest musician who ever came from the North Side. I mean, Sonny was better than a lot of us are as adults when we were kids.
Right.
Yeah. You got to be half crazy to work in this business anyway. From a pragmatic, and
survive and keep going back for more and more and more.
Oh man, yeah, you got to be a glutton for punishment. People would say to me all the time, like, "Well, how come you don't have students? Why don't you?" Like, I don't recommend this life for anybody.
My daughter is out in L.A. trying to do that thing, and all I do is I do what my mom did to me, which is support.
Uh-huh.
It's
Yeah.
a tough life, man.
It's not easy, man. I mean, just last year, this time, February 11th, I think was the first date on my tour with Soul Asylum in 2020. And, that's touring don't change. You're living on a steel tube with a bunch of dudes. You're staying up late, you're waking up early, you're burning the candle at both ends. Your people are fighting, and it don't change. It's rough, man.
Yeah.
You get off stage, you get on a bus, and you drive for 9 hours. You got to really. What did somebody tell me? How do I encourage my son? And I said, I wouldn't. Don't encourage your kids into this life, because this life it's tough. You can't. It ain't for everybody.
So let's talk about that a little bit. Now, we're not going to get into any more Prince stuff because that's been well documented.
Sure.
I want to talk about what this podcast is called Music on the Run. We talk about and give advice, not only musical advice and talk about our lives, but we also talk about how you survive on the road. And you were talking just then about what it is like to be on the road. You don't necessarily think of Soul Asylum as being, the picture of health on the road. They are, I would assume that they lead a full-on rock and roll lifestyle. Now,
It's rock and roll. I mean,
said, how do you, Michael Bland, stay healthy on the road?
Oh boy,
Do you stay healthy on the road, young man?
healthier on the road than anywhere else,
How is that?
because I'm on a schedule. I know how much time I need. I need to do things.
Okay.
Like on tour, my life has a structure that I've never been able to maintain in my personal life. So it's good for me, because I don't. I mean, I might have I'll hang out for a little while. Maybe I'll have a cocktail even, and then it's I've tried calling my wife in those late hours, but she don't pick up the phone.
Funny.
So, and that's all right, but I'll leave a message or I'll text her or something. Watch a lot of television.
Is that
Watch
right?
a lot of movies. And now that I have Pro Logic 10 on my computer, I could actually get into doing music if I ever get on the road again.
Right.
But, so there is that also, that I just never really. I don't know why I took so long to do it, but
On your podcast, you said that it took you 51 years to figure out that putting the wrong things into your body is going along with the program and killing yourself. Did
Sure.
you change the way you were eating when you turned 51, or what happened? Did you have
You mean what literally happened to make me become a vegan?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Me and meat, we're very fond of one another. It's not. I want to be clear that this is not like a whole thing leading into meat is murder, and we need to protect, and the animals are our spiritual equals on this planet. None of that.
Right.
If you put a steak in front of me right now, it would be the hardest thing in my life not to just.
Yep.
It's not that, but I guess I can. One day I was eating a chicken parmesan sandwich from Davani's, and a voice in my head said, "How do you expect to live well if you're only eating dead things?"
Wow. Really?
Yeah. And I just went on. Whatever.
Get off my
That's just
shoulder.
some. I don't know who said that.
Yeah.
And one day, I guess I must have told it to my wife because she remembered that. And also at the same time, my my stepdaughter Nico, she was struggling with wanting to become a vegetarian or vegan, and we were making it any easier bringing Popeyes in the house,
Right.
and who's going to resist Popeyes?
Right.
So, we kind of, worked it out as a family.
Huh.
and decided that's what we were going to do.
Do you feel better? Is there a noticeable change, or is there?
People ask me that all the time. I mean, other than dropping a few pounds and not being so winded, those are the main ways. I don't really notice a dietary, like I don't know if my intestines are functioning better, or if I don't know what kind of other benefits may be happening. But I mean I've known long enough that the carcinogens in red meat are directly, related to cancer. So, I mean, there's just, I think what it took was getting more education about the subject. And
you spoke about complacency in so many things on one of the podcasts that I listened to. And
yeah, it's hard to change. It's hard to change, especially when you like yourself. A lot of people don't like themselves, Paul. Yeah. I like myself. I think I turned out all right.
Well, I have to agree with you, Michael Bland. I do.
But the thing is that I think when I was younger, I thought that life would be very short. And here I am, like 52. I'll be 53 in March. Life is long, man. Life is long. And if I'm going to be here, I feel a responsibility to live well, because so many people, who don't wake up to the idea, live to be in their 80s and they can't function.
Right.
And it's like if I'm going to be here, I have to function. I've got to be able to function. I've got to be able to just, and it's not easy. Every day it's a fight. The Wendy's commercial comes on, I got to change the channel.
Dude, it's like me with the alcohol. It's like, come on. Yeah, but I'm always up for the fight, and I like myself better without that.
Sure.
That's just a personal choice.
I got you. And I don't know that I feel emotionally different about any of it. I just feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to. And I think also that when I told my wife about that voice in my head, she said something that led me to another voice that said, you have to rise to the level of your consciousness. Otherwise, it'll be your undoing. If you understand certain things and you don't apply them in your life, it's a recipe for destruction. That's how it came to me. Like, you can't become, sentient. You can't know more and do less.
Right. That'll be your undoing, like you said.
Yes. If you know, it's just like saying if you know better, you're supposed to do better. It's the same thing. Like, once you're awake, you can't just go back to sleep. You have to take the actionable steps and keep up with your consciousness. If your body does not follow the level of your consciousness, things are out of alignment. Things are out of balance.
And you bring up such a great point that it's a perfect segue into what happened here in Minneapolis last summer, and that is the killing of George Floyd. And you, my friend, were one of the first people I called on the phone, because I think there was a lot of people like me, white folks, who didn't know quite how to help or how to react, and they didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. So I called you, man, because I've known you for so long. I knew you would give it to me straight. You have been very outspoken about what's been going on. And I think one of the things that you told me at that time is, and something you just mentioned there, was you can't be sleeping when there's information out there. You got to dig for it if it's worth knowing. I mean, there's an education that I got in my school system that is probably dramatically different than what really is happening there. And that is just so wrong on so many levels. I don't even comprehend how that's possible, but it's happening. So how can we become more a focus for change and be a voice and help what's going on in this terrible, terrible age that we're still living in.
Well,
Go ahead, preach. Preach, MB.
Right, exactly.
Come
Well,
on
thank
now.
you. I'm glad you asked that question because I have I don't.
I know you don't, but you have knowledge, man, and knowledge is power.
Well, here's the thing, though, is that I mean, pretty much we understand that racism exists everywhere in our culture, in our society, and especially in the unexamined, unchecked normal. What people consider to be normal. I mean, it's relative to each and every one of us. What's normal? You know, so it's a lot harder to see if you're not looking for it.
Right.
You know, and that's the magic trick. That's the thing, is that if it's how do you know I mean, you don't know you're living in the Matrix until somebody tells you.
True.
You know, and I'm a lot more interested in sharing information and fielding questions from, you know, all sorts of people that a lot of my black colleagues are not. Like, they really feel like it's the problem is the problem is all around, and if you want to see it, you can see it. Like they don't feel any, for lack of a better term, any obligation to educate white folks.
Sure.
About, you know.
I'm sure they've had it.
Oh yeah, it's easy to get fed up. If you're black in America, it's easy to get fed up. Yeah,
I
mean,
I get it.
You know, you and I, being in the business we're in, I mean, I've been fortunate because more than in any other, well, maybe except for like maybe in the area of sports or entertainment, I guess in sports and entertainment, these are the only places where your ability matters more than the color of your skin. You know, so I mean, in a way, it was my good fortune, but it didn't. To be in music and to be judged more by what I can do than, you know, what color I happen to be.
Right.
More often than not. Like, you know, there's still people at Soul Asylum gigs who didn't know the band. When Winston and I are playing with Soul Asylum, Winston Roy from New York, black guy also.
Yeah.
You know, and we would be cracking up on the tour bus. And how many of these people, like in the front row, we get out east, and, you know, some of them they didn't even want to acknowledge us, look at us. Like, they just be looking at Dave. They just be looking at Dave,
wow.
and me and Winston would be cracking up. And it would break. I told Dave about that. It broke his heart. You know?
Sure did.
Well, I mean, other than just being like, overwrought with white guilt and being a Catholic, he's really,
yeah.
I
really understand these things.
Sensitive to that sort of thing. He's very empathetic to those who are suffering, which is part of what makes him a great songwriter, I think.
Sure. Is
that he's compassionate. He can see things from a lot of sides, you know, and he just, you know, he knows what it's like to be an underdog. You know, I mean, 12 years in a van. You know, trying to, what are you doing with your life? You know, nobody knows what they're doing with their life when they get into music. They're just following, you know, their heart.
Dream,
yes.
Passion. Yeah, of course.
And luckily, it all worked out for him eventually, you know, but some of us find that, I mean, I think that, well, without speaking for him too much, I think that the pageantry that goes along with it is really not his style. He doesn't really care for all that. I mean, to me, you know, in ways, he's more of an heir to the Dylan throne than Dylan's own kid. I mean,
wow.
Perner has got he's such a strong writer. He's a great American writer, in my opinion.
Right.
And of his peer group, I think the best easily. You know, and a lot of people would disagree. They'd say either Kurt Cobain or, you know, like somebody else, you know, along those lines. But all of those dudes stole from Perner. And they've admitted it.
Wow.
You know? So, anyway, I'm not sure what I'm saying about this exactly, but he always has questions. He's always asking about like things that are considered to be black culture,
Right.
or why is this and why is that, and so I guess it's no skin off my nose to at least speak from what I know, and I don't know, man. It's I was really startled when I heard that like 70 million people, like this last election, like all of those things took, and I don't want to make it a partisan thing. I'm just speaking
Right.
from my own. I was surprised that so many people decided that Donald Trump should be the president for another 4 years. And, I'm sure a lot of people got their reasons. If I was a rich person, I probably would vote for the person who's going to act in my better interests. Like, I understand it on a pragmatic level,
Right.
but I don't. If you're talking about not ethics really, because I think politics is generally
Non-ethical anyway.
yeah, it's not.
Right.
It's not really about ethics.
But
I
you're
guess.
talking about a soulful level, a life. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know.
But that's an example of how differently two types of people can see the world that we're living in,
Right.
or where things have gone, or it's I told somebody the other day, I think I posted, I said, if I could just get one cable news station that just reported the facts, just give me the facts. I'm so sick of op-ed and opinion-based news that I could scream. I just tell me what happened. I'll make up my own mind about how I feel about it. And I think, I wasn't expecting to go here, but I think the media is to blame for a lot of this.
Yeah, I do.
I mean,
Do you think at this point we have an opportunity to heal? Are we at a healing point yet, or are we still?
well, that 70 million is telling me
Okay.
maybe we're not.
Right.
I don't want to be a downer, and I really didn't even want to dive too deeply into this, but only because I had my show, Music Politics, with my friend Dan Spiffy Newman, and it's kind of indefinitely on hiatus.
Why is that, by the way?
Well, partly because I don't think that I got exhausted. I began to really, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I didn't loathe the experience. I thought we shared a lot of important information, and we showcased a lot of black people in places where people are not used to seeing them. We had judges on, we had scientists, and mostly they were black women. And I think most people in society don't realize that black women are now the highest educated people in this country. Like, as far as numbers to, black women are the most educated segment of the population in the United States. And, but you don't hear about it that often. I guess you got a vice president, now,
Right.
so you're hearing more about it than you did before.
Right.
But it's long story short, it really, not being involved in a forum that lent itself to be solution oriented.
Got it.
I need to be solvent in my life. I need to focus on things that I can control and do the best I can with those things.
Right.
And civil unrest that ain't my wheelhouse. Not really. I was really upset about a lot of things, and I'm not a social, I'm not a crusader. I'm not, and I think that ultimately I had to face the fact that this is not just about an election. It's not just about, people who fear change. It's a social condition. And it has a lot of support. I don't want to say that I felt powerless, but I know that whatever it is going to take some time, and it's going to take a type of concentration that people don't have the depth for any longer, or they don't seem to. They could. Either you care about other people or you don't.
Right. Well, personally, the research that I've been doing, I think that you shared some really crucial information in classic Michael Bland, compassionate style. You have your opinions. There's no question about that. But from the way I know you, I saw nothing but a positive in there, and I can understand that how it could have been draining. You know, somebody's got to step up, and you did during that time period. And I hope that there's someone that has the same reach you do does the same again, because this can't be pushed under the rug. This just can't go away, because all it's going to do is inflame again. And that's, from my opinion, I think what you were doing was a real positive. So, well, anyway, there you go.
I appreciate that, and I'd like to believe that it was, but the effort that it took to spin it, the effort that it took to find that silver lining when you're surrounded by nothing but clouds. You know, it's like it kept being further to reach. Sonny and I did a trio gig with Jesse Johnson at First Avenue. It was like for a Hendrix thing, like a Hendrix tribute. And we were in rehearsal with Jesse, and Jesse was talking about how, like, man, this dude came up from Philly to show me the book. Jeff Lee was playing with Esperanza Spalding.
Oh, okay.
And couldn't do the gig with D'Angelo. So Jesse came on, and they asked Jeff to, take the train up from Philly to come to SIR or wherever they were at to kind of run the book so Jesse could see what was going on. And I guess Jesse was just like, why don't you just take this dude?
Right. Wow.
Like, this cat's killing me. What is it?
Wow.
I don't know exactly what he said, but it's and Jesse, if I've ever seen somebody a more like just natural. Jesse's a natural, man.
He sure is.
Guitar player?
Jesse Johnson, he's speaking of Jesse Johnson, who was a guitar player in the time.
Man, me and Sonny, we were wore out.
Yeah.
Rehearsing with Jesse. Just because everything he played, he got that attitude, man. He
has, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know.
I actually almost was his roommate back in 1983.
Whoa!
He and I almost moved in with each other, even though he was the one who was cracking the whip, during the time rehearsals. We fought like brothers, and then we loved each other like brothers.
Okay.
So he's like, we should just get a place together. I was living with my mom. That's how young I was.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I got you. That's funny. I can see dealing with Jesse, on a regular basis in closed quarters might be. It was
interesting.
I bet it was interesting. I mean, I
learned so much, though. I did. I got to give it to him. And I told him that. I've been able to do that with a lot of people I've been in bands with. I've been able to go back while they're alive and say, man, thank you for showing me this, that, and the other thing. And that for me is so important, to be able to go back and thank the people who brought you along,
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I was going to say earlier, I remember Prince saying, I think it was one day he might have seen you like creeping through the atrium or something. And somehow your name came up. Oh,
boy.
No. I believe he said, I think what he literally said was that you were the baddest white boy he ever worked with.
No way. Really? Well, that's news to me.
He said,
never heard that.
Paul's baddest white boy I ever worked with.
It was fun for me to be able to get back in his good graces towards the end of his life. We ended up laughing and he was the same guy, just a little bit more seasoned.
Sure.
25 years after the fact, but
I'm sorry we're back on him, but that's it's a weird commonality between us that we've never really even discussed.
Well, that's true. That is very true.
Because we have so much other territory that's also adjoining, but maybe it's because it was the differential in the time period.
Yeah, but you know what? That will always bind us and anybody else who's been in that camp, because there's an understanding of people who were in that camp of what it was. You can't really explain it, but if you were there, you kind of can see the look in the other person's eye and go, "Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I get it. All right."
We were in the same war, but you were in a different
Country.
different company. Country, maybe country, maybe company. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great experience in my life, and I'm sure it was yours too, man.
It was incredible, but I mean, it made a lot of other gigs hard to do after.
I'm sure it did.
And sometimes I couldn't hide my
Displeasure.
yes from the people around me who knew me.
Yeah.
And I was on a gig, and I'm not going to say who I was working for, because it may come again, and I don't.
I got
was
you.
on a gig, and it was kind of just like a straight up R&B gig. I'll just refer to these people my friend Icky James was on. He was actually a guitar tech. Magoo, who had tech for me at Paisley, was my drum tech. Scotty Baldwin was the front of house.
No kidding.
And inside of the same day of rehearsal, all three of those dudes came to me and said, "You bored already?" And I was like,
They knew because they
what
were
did
in
I
the same
do?
camp.
It said nothing. It's just like, it ain't, we know how you are when you all the way in it. Mm-hmm. And I just, nobody else, none of the LA cats knew. They didn't know me. They didn't care.
Of course. Right.
I was just trying to do what was necessary. And if playing at 98 beats per minute almost all night, is what's necessary, then that's what you do. I'm trying to make a living, Paul.
Right.
I wasn't trying to.
I understand you.
I'm not trying to get my jollies. I'm trying to work.
I understand you.
So, I'm like, don't talk about this again. I need this job as bad as any of y'all do.
Of course.
So let's just act like I'm on full tilt, and let's get this money.
After all, it is the music business.
Me and Johannes Tona,
great bass player here in town.
did a trio gig with Jeff Lee at Ice House. And Johannes had been touring with Jeff over in Europe with a different drummer. So I had to get caught up on some of the material they were playing now. And so I listened to the recordings and, okay, all right. And we started playing something. And we barely got through the head, got into like the solo section. And Jeff just, wait, stop, no, wait. Don't waste it here. Don't waste it here.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay, I get it now. Like he heard what he needed to hear to say, don't waste those notes.
That's so funny because I've worked with people who sound check for hours.
So have I.
And I'm burnt by the time the gig comes.
Yeah.
Burnt.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, then I start questioning, why can't I play this better? Because you've played it 17 times already before the gig.
Hey.
But anyway.
You talking, you preaching to the converted.
Yeah.
I mean, Prince, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, sound check, 2.5 hour show, and then go jam somewhere for another 3 hours at night.
Oof.
I mean, fortunately, he had a wellspring of material, so we didn't always have to play the same thing.
True.
And he would like change the set on the way out to the stage.
Is that right?
He said, "Take me with you's out. We're doing Raspberry Beret instead." And that might have been 5 shows ago that you played Raspberry Beret last time. So I'm walking up the stairs to the drums like, how did that arrangement go?
You'll find out when you're done.
Meanwhile, dude, get focused. You're in the thunder is coming up. You got to play. You got a show, a whole other show, Like he would just, I don't know if he did that just to see who could hang. Or,
Sure he did. I think he intentionally did a lot of that stuff to keep you on your toes.
Uh-huh.
I think he did. You know what, man? I have enjoyed this hang and this talk. You, Michael Bland, I don't see you very often, man, but I hope you know how I feel about you, and you're just one of my favorite people, and of course, one of my favorite musicians too, and I just appreciate you coming on the show and hanging out with me and then sharing some knowledge.
I don't know how much of that I did, but it was great to see you and speak to you too. And I don't think we actually got into what we were probably expecting to. But
That's jazz, man. That's jazz.
jazz.
It's jazz, man.
All right.
It was so much fun, man, to see you. And I know that the people who listen to this podcast will absolutely love the content, and they'll know why I feel about you and the way the Peterson family feels about you for your entire life, man.
Yeah,
so
I've
you've always got
always-
family here.
I've always felt supported, and it's. I mean, from the day that I met your family, from the day that I met Patty, everybody else just gave me the same love Patty did, you know, and I can't thank you enough. We've done some great things together, Paul.
We have.
We've had many musical adventures that a lot of people could only dream of.
Mavis Staples,
Oh,
George
man.
Benson. Woo!
We did it. We did the darn thing.
We did it, and we ain't done yet, man.
Okay, no, let's just get past this, get the Rona out
Let's
the
get
way.
past the Rona. I will drink to that. And ladies and gentlemen, my buddy, Mr. Michael Bland. That's
All right.
it for this this episode 32 of Music on the Run. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Music on the Run was hosted by yours truly, St. Paul Peterson. Edited and produced by my buddy Davide Raso. Video editing by Ivan Sebastianov. And a very special thanks to the people who financially support this podcast. And remember, people are counting on you. Go be inspiring today.